Welcome back to Sports Extra with me, Ahmad. Time now for a very special segment. We're discussing that the third Chief of the Air Staff International Open Sailing Championship is happening in Karachi at the PAF Yacht Club in Karachi. More than 12 nations are participating and it is a sailing extravaganza. We've got a report on this. Let's take a look and then come back.
Third Chief of Air Staff International Open Sailing Championship 2022. The mega sailing event of 2022 is commencing on 17th March at the Pakistan Air Force Yacht Club Karachi and will conclude on 20th March. 10 countries will compete in the championship this year. The countries competing include Pakistan, Turkey, Bahrain, Russia, Singapore, Iran, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Kazakhstan and Thailand. 89 sailors shall take part in the championship, out of which 74 are male sailors whereas 15 are female sailors. The championship will commence under various categories that include Optimist, Laser Standard, Laser 4.7 and RSX.
There you have it, all you need to know in all its glory. This sailing championship is going to commence in a couple of days and it's going to continue till the 20th of March. Like we said, more than 12 nations participating, and you got to know the details in that report as well. PAF Yacht Club, the Pakistan Air Force Yacht Club in Karachi, is the place to be if you want to look at this extravaganza of sailing that is happening. And I will be talking about many aspects, but of course, whenever we talk about events like these and sports development generally in Pakistan, then the role of the corporate sector is huge and is immense. We always say the government's not going to do everything. It's got to be entities that come up, and one such entity who's got experience of more than 50 years in construction and development, they've stepped up. They're going to be the title sponsors for this event as well, and that is, of course, we're talking about GFS from Karachi. We'll be talking to their representative, Mr. Kashif Warsi is joining us. Assalamu alaikum, Kashif. Welcome to Sports Extra.
Ji, walaikum salam. How are you?
I'm very good. Kashif, thank you so much for joining. First of all, I'd like to know, like I said, a company with more than 15 years of experience in the realm of construction and development, and when it comes to events like these, we're talking about a sailing championship in Pakistan, the third edition. What was the initiative for GFS to go into this as a sponsor?
In past recent 2 years, we have done a very in a different style of marketing, that we have chosen the CSR as a sports as a CSR, and to contribute in the in a social responsibility. So our visionary leader and chairman Irfan Wahid Saab and the managing director Mansoor Wahid Saab, they believe in creating to do marketing in a different way and get this marketing rupees to convert into the sports development as well. So there's our one of director marketing, whose name is Mohsen Wahid Saab. They preferred to go into the sports sector and sports segment. So lately, in last 2 years, we have done the cycling sports as well and marathon as well. We have done sports cricket, as we sponsored some PSL team Karachi King as well. So now that's why we want to continue that lead to keep supporting the sports, and that's why we have chosen. And this is the mega event. Look at the 12 nations. They are competing each other in Pakistan. So this is the right time to tell the world as well that we are the peaceful people, and we are developing the sports culture in Pakistan as well. So that's the major reason behind it.
Kashif, you would also agree that when we talk about sports, people have mostly taken Pakistan as a cricketing nation. But there is so much more, like you mentioned, and now we're propagating and promoting sailing in Pakistan with the third edition of this event. It cannot get more phenomenal than this, that we tell people that, yes, cricket is a very popular sport, but there are many more avenues to sports when we talk about them in Pakistan.
Yeah, people are coming up with, in Pakistan right now, there are lots of people are taking initiatives, but due to lack of funds, the different sports are not emerging as a mainstream sports activity for Pakistan. But right now, I think like it's a good uh, initiative from people. Like people are developing hockey as well, even a squash as well on international and Pakistan like on national level. So now the corporate sector is getting involved in it, and they are trying to come up with this approach to help them out, and uh, everyone, because they are like most of the time there are funding issues, and the sponsors are not this much connect with those sports, secondary sports. All the time they preferred only cricket, but now the choice is there. This sailing tournament, um, I think it's Air Force initiative which they have done in last year as well. This is the consecutive third year they are now you know conducting it.
Definitely, that is the case when we talk about this event in general as well. And now, Kashif, to understand, like you mentioned, that GFS has moved into a sort of a CSR mode and now promoting sports in Pakistan, be it cricket and now sailing. So, a final question would be, what's the future for GFS? Because we've often seen corporate entities coming up and taking patronage of sports in Pakistan, but that consistency somewhat lacks because of obviously their own dynamics as well of running a corporate company or business that is concerned. So for people who want to know, what can they expect from GFS in the future when we talk about sports in Pakistan?
Definitely, like it's more about not just to sponsor any event, because now like GFS, what GFS is taking initiative that in our housing projects that we as GFS, we are like we always try to build low cost but like gated community with all international facilities in it. So in our own housing projects, we are developing sports academies as well, and as well as like multi sports facility, just like if we are creating a sports academy in our Seven Wonder City phase 2, and there is a soccer ground as well, and as well as a squash complex, and as like tennis court. So it's a small place where you can play multiple sports in it. So that initiative everyone should take up, just like GFS builders are doing it right now. We are creating one of the like international standards cricket academy as well. But not just focusing on cricket, we are developing more and more sports fields to facilitate all sort of sports activities.
Definitely. Kashif, I'd like to take this moment to thank you and congratulations to you and GFS for being part of this huge event that we're seeing in Pakistan. And definitely, I think giving back to the nation, whichever entity it is, let alone GFS this time, truly the nation salutes you. So thank you so much, and thank you to GFS as well for partnering with this event. Right, that was Mr. Kashif Warsi representing GFS, who's going to be the title sponsor of this event. Now, of course, like we mentioned, an extravaganza of sailing, a sailing championship, the third chief of the Air Staff International Open Sailing Championship 2022. Pakistan Air Force Yacht Club is the place to be in Karachi, and a fantastic place. I've been there. I've witnessed everything that is there for offer when you talk about water sports. But bringing 12 nations competing in Karachi in this yacht club, competing in the domains of sailing, and it is truly momentous when we talk about this. Pakistan, Turkey, Bahrain, Russia, Singapore, Iran, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Kazakhstan, Thailand, and all these countries that are going to be participating sends out a very strong message indeed, but opens up many platforms and many doors for Pakistan when we talk about sailing, and for the youth as well to witness sailing and learn the art of sailing as well as a competitive sport is definitely absolutely a learning phase, and then of course to promote the sport in the country as well. We're going to be talking more on this, and we're going to be joined by more people as well, particularly talking about this. We're going to be joined by Captain Retired Arshad, who's the Vice President of the Pakistan Sailing Federation, and we'll be knowing about our Sailing Federation as well for people who don't know the dynamics of the Sailing Federation of Pakistan, and then also the importance of this event and everything that is involved. We'll of course be talking about that as well. So moving forward, we'll talk about this in detail. And now we've been joined by the Vice President of the Pakistan Sailing Federation, Captain retired Arshad. Sir, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Sports Extra.
Walaikum salam ji. Thank you very much for having me.
Sir, it's an honor to host you, sir. First of all, for all our viewers who want to know about the Pakistan Sailing Federation, sir, we'd really appreciate if you could tell us more about it.
Well, Pakistan Sailing Federation is the national body which is consisting of various clubs, provincial bodies, as well as some departments. It's a very old body. The sailing has been actually popular in the early 70s when we started winning medal, international Asian Games medal. But sailing limitation was that it was only limited in Karachi. Now, there are many clubs which have opened at different lakes of country, Rawal Lake and Mangla, and there are some couple of others who are sailing now outside Karachi. Basically, it's a beautiful game. I always preach about for the youngsters because it's an intellectual game in which you don't see the wind. You have to feel it and use your sails to move from A to B. The beauty about the whole game is it's very environmental supportive. There is no engines involved. There is no fuel involved. Everything is just the sail and the board. Singapore is a small country, but every citizen it is absolutely compulsory for him or her to do a sailing course in his life. This is what we are trying to promote now to bring youngsters, and the youngsters in all parts of city as well as country, they're coming up very well. It's a beautiful sport, very soothing, and very much supported by most of the schools now. The students are coming. Pakistan Air Force definitely is one of the organization, along with the Navy and some other countries, some other clubs who are excelling, especially at the youth level. And I am connected as a Vice President fair now, but I am connected with the youth for quite some time. And the beauty about this for the youth is that children who are confident, who are good in sailing, I have not seen them failing at the later part of their life because the confidence which sailing gives is unimaginable. Imagine a small child of 9 years when he starts. The boat is like a Titanic ship for him or her, and he controls the boat. And then when he's competing against fellow sailors, then he is taking a decision to go right or left, and he will get the result within few minutes. We call it in 1 hour race. 180 decisions, vital decisions are taken by a sailor, and the result comes immediately. So I have seen, because I am associated with youth sailing, especially over 35 years now, and I realized that children who have done well, they have done well in life also. And that's why sailing all over the world is taken as a prime sport. Pakistan Sailing Federation is trying to take this out of Karachi also because there are a lot of children, a lot of water dams available. And I'm very sure that in few years' time, this sport will be giving same honor which we had some in 70s, 80s, maximum 90 we went it.
Definitely. Sir, it's interesting that you mentioned this because the last time I was there at the Yacht Club, I saw about 15, 20, even more than that, small boats with small children sailing. It was so inspiring to see those young children at this age. So we can easily say that it becomes, a way of life. Sailing is a way of life and everybody should know it. No matter what the dynamics, and like you also gave an example of Singapore as well. But sir, now about the competition, bringing 12 nations to Pakistan and having a sailing competition in Pakistan, which is now an annual feature, now into its third edition. How big is this for the country itself, sir, let alone the Sailing Federation?
I think the best of all is that the countries are coming, trusting Pakistan as a favorable nation for water sports. This is the acknowledgement that they trusted. Nowadays the COVID time and all that, we still lost few countries, but we still have a reasonable number of sailors. It will be about 100 boats on the water on the day of championship, which is starting in 2 days' time. This is the largest number of gathering of boats in Pakistan, and we are sailing in 4 classes. Especially children class is the most, you can say, crowded. The maximum entry is an optimist, which is up to 15 years of age and less boys and girls. Uh, One reason also is that our base has really gone well, especially for the youth. So I'm very happy, and I will be very happy for my youth and other sailors, because you know what, when competition happens, the expertise is brought in, which can be spread during the championship. There will be a lot of coaches who will be helping our children also, of course, their children and adults. They learn by following and having a competition. So it's a very good, I think, very successful event it's going to be, and we are happy to have it in our waters.
So what's the future for sailing? Of course, we talk about the success in Pakistan and what we want to achieve. But talking about sending our sailors to international competitions, what does the future have for that?
Very bright future. Like I said, because I am mostly involved with the children, what a talent we have got in this country. Believe you me, ever I saw a child or adult, basically now it's the game starting with the 8 years or 9 years of age and then developing. But talent itna hai, there is so much of talent that just you feel happy. You put anyone and within few days you will find that he's jumping around in the boat, going right and left in center, whatever you call it, in all conditions. Uh, we don't stop training. Even during Ramadan, they will be sailing regularly. 5 days a week is a normal thing. Future is very bright in my opinion. The only thing is we do send team abroad, but the question is finances is one thing which we are managing. I am never after the finances because everybody can develop and do it in its own way. The only thing which I feel, and it should be exposed to majority of the people, because the talent is everywhere. It's not limited to only Karachi young boys and girls who have the opportunity. Even I've developed some clubs abroad, outside Karachi, and the talent came from there also. So, and I think what I've been normally saying, one time there was an interview that what can government do? Government can open club all over the country. That's enough. Rest is not. There's nothing less than that. Give a chance to the KPK people, Punjab people. Water lakes are everywhere. Dams are everywhere. And these sailings
Definitely.
are done in all types of waters. A lot of people say there is no wind. Of course, you don't get sea winds there, but there is enough wind. Uh, Waterlocked, the landlocked place countries are winning America Cup. So that's not an issue that there's no water, there's no enough wind. Wind is available and we can sail anywhere in Pakistan. My all desire will be that we can have more clubs in Pakistan all over.
Inshallah, inshallah. Sir, that is the hope. Sir Arshad, thank you so much for joining us on Sports Extra. All the best to you, the Sailing Federation, and the wonderful kids that we have who are the bright future of Pakistan. Well, that wraps it up for that championship that we're talking about. The third Chief of the Air Staff International Open Sailing Championship 2022 will begin in a couple of days at the PAF Yacht Club in Karachi. You have to be there, and if you're in Karachi, more the merrier, then you can definitely join in and witness this. But like Captain Retired Arshad, the Vice President of the Pakistan Sailing Federation, mentioned that get your kids involved. It is a beautiful sport, teaches discipline, teaches confidence, and it is a way of life indeed. Definitely, I think fantastic content is going to be coming on Sports Extra regarding this sailing championship as well. More than 12 nations, more than 89 sailors participating, absolutely huge. So all the best to all the teams participating and the organizers as well for a successful event.